All right, 3, 2.
All right, another fun night in Timmins. Man, that was fun just to see the energy in the arena, and that's I guess 3 home games in a row where places felt almost to capacity. And the student section was great tonight. I want to take some time to thank the students. Thought they were tremendous. Thought they got there early, and thought they were loud. And environment matters, right? Environment matters, and we fought for years to get this consistent, to get people here and to get the energy where it's at. And that's what makes it fun, right? When those shots start going in and they cut it to forward, we make a couple plays and JP makes that corner 3 and the crowd goes crazy. Like that impacts it. And so everybody that took the time on their Wednesday night to come out, I want to thank them. Heck of a ball game. Obviously, we all know what we were facing, and it's a team that came in here with a 17-game winning streak, longest winning streak in the country, and it's credit to our group of playing connected, playing to our identity, and understanding that at the end of the day, I love seeing these analytic reports. Everybody thinks Furman's an offensive team, and the offense was red tonight, and the defense was green. And that's why we won tonight. That's why we won Saturday. That's why we're having the improvement that we have. We were .84 tonight, and I don't need to give you all the statistical numbers of them. We've all seen them a lot this week, and it's a very high-powered offense. They make a lot of threes. They get the tempo really, really fast, and you got no chance if you don't guard them. And I think our guys took tremendous pride in playing defense, and we went in the tunnel, and we'd held them 25 points. So turnover margin is a big reason for their success. The last game they were plus 14 in turnover margin, and we knew that we had to do a good job of taking care of the ball, but also creating some. And last game they played, they created 23, and they only coughed it up 9 times. Like, it's going to be hard to beat those guys, if the turnover margin is 14. And so proud of a lot of guys. I think a couple that come to mind. I haven't really studied the box score. It looks like just like any classic Furman game, 4 double-digit scores, 19 assists. Wish the turnovers would have been a tad lower, but you know what? 18. We turned them over 17 times, and I thought Garrett Heaton was big tonight, and it's one of those situations where, again, we had to take him out of the lineup in terms of starting, and just like our team, when everybody thought we were going to fold up and quit, like he didn't, and he kept working, and he's been in the gym, and he earned the right to go out and play the way he did. He's a plus 22 tonight. Thought he did a great job for us. I thought PJ Smith was phenomenal. I just thought PJ had an unbelievable basketball game, and I thought he played with confidence. I thought he played with swagger. I didn't think he got down on himself. I thought he just got to the next play, and I thought he got the ball up. And how many threes did he get up? He got up 6 of them, but he made 3 of them. And you know what? That's what the baseball card says he is. He's a 47% guy, and if he can see it, he needs to shoot it. And I love the confidence he had in that left corner 3 right in front of me right there. Just caught it and got it in the air. JP, again, made huge plays down the stretch, came out and hit those back-to-back threes. I thought his corner 3 was huge. And then Marcus, 22 and 11. He hadn't had a double-double since ETSU, at ETSU last year until VMI last week. And so that would have been, the ETSU game would have been the 5th game in league play last year? No, 4th. We went to Mercer and then we came here and played Greensboro. So the 4th game in league play, he had a double-double. Didn't have another one until last week. Okay, so over a year, and then comes back in a huge game tonight and gets 22 and 11, right? And at the end of the day, he's somebody that you talk about adversity, having to go through what he had to go through, and he's come off of that, and that's really how our whole team, how they've responded to adversity and how they've grown. He used that as an opportunity to change his perspective and to change how he sees the game and to go out there and play the game with more joy. And man, was he tremendous tonight on both sides of the ball. And Ben came in, did what he did, got some back cuts like he always does. Thought Coop gave us some good minutes. Thought Carter did a great job again. And you got PJ, Carter, JP out there, and you're trying to press them. It can be difficult, especially if we can keep 2 feet on the ground. But Carter, 7 assists and just 3 turnovers. So still some things we can continue to get better at, for sure. But I love the mentality of our group right now. I love the confidence that they're playing with, and got a little chip on their shoulder, and they should. And I love everything about it.
Coach, I don't have the analytical information, but I know this, Furman and Purdue were the only team to hold them under 31 for a half all season. And they played Purdue 2.5 months ago. That first half, the other thing about it, and people will probably look at this and see, to have JP Pegues 0 for 6 from the floor, Marcus Foster 3 for 10 from the floor, and you're up by 10 at the half. You have so many different guys who not only do different things well from each other, but so many of those guys can do different things themselves. Alex Williams in the 3 last time out, he has a double-double. Now he gets back to the 3s again tonight. Just how do you, is it now where everybody's healthy and you can finally get that flow that you've been, you're obviously in a good flow here with 5 straight wins, but just, you don't have to have, to beat a team like this tonight, you don't have to have JP go out there and hit every shot he tries, is I guess the point, or Marcus Foster for that matter either, even though they made big shots in the second half.
Yeah, I think obviously there's a lot there, Scott.
There's a lot there.
I think, look, people don't know what this team went through. I'm watching Sanford Western the other night at BMI. I thought there was only 2 teams left in the race, 4 games in. That's all you hear about, right? That's all the media talks about. That's all the people that write about this stuff talk about. Everybody marked us off, right? And our guys just ignored it all, right? They went out there and they just said, you know what? We're gonna find a way to get to our best, whatever that is. Is that a championship? Is that whatever it is? We're gonna go out there and we're gonna get to the best version of this team, and we're just gonna keep getting better. And I think what I've had to do is, and you learn every year. I'm 7 years in, and every year I'm learning new things. And we had to pull a little bit of pressure off of last year's team. Well, then you go and you do what we did last year, and you talk about having to pull pressure off another team. You got an NBA player that's gone, and then all of a sudden we have a scheduling philosophy that, hey, we're gonna go play anybody anywhere. And you know what? Some of that was all we could do. And we went on the road for a ton of games. We went and played 2 American teams. We played an SEC team. We played a Princeton team that was undefeated. We went to an ESPN event, and we chose to do that. And I think then all of a sudden you get your top 3 scorers get hurt all in December, and you have to navigate all that. And then all of a sudden you got to be able to look at that and say, okay, we got a choice to make here. We can get on the bus after Chattanooga and we can just shut this down and we can figure out what this thing, or you know what, we can try to figure this out. And to a man, our whole team has decided, hey, we're gonna keep fighting. And I think what it's developed is a little bit of, like I said, it's developed a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, right? A lot of people did count us out. And I think, there's a long way to go in this thing. There's 11 games left. And there's a lot of good teams in this league, and there's a lot of good coaches. I think the whole league and the people watching know that, hey, we're getting better and we're getting our guys back. And they made a decision, right? They could have blamed each other. They could have complained. They could have criticized each other and hear whose fault it is, right? They could have defended themselves. Well, it's not my fault because I got this many points of this. Hey, listen, we all got to figure this out. We weren't guarding well enough. The ball wasn't moving. We didn't look like a Furman team, right? Aside from the injuries, right? We weren't playing to identity. Tonight, looked like a Furman team. Looked like great teammates out there that flew around on D and moved and shared the ball. That's what I saw, right? And a lot of times the humility to get to that, right? That's the hard part in this, right? Can you get a team to us? And right now, all this, right? And all how do you leverage this to help your individual situation? Listen, they're not a coach in the country not having to deal with this. And at the end of the day, this program, this locker room right here, it's going to be about us. And I think what's happened is when you go through adversity and you get knocked down, you got no choice. And that's a credit to JP. That's a credit to Marcus. That's a credit to Garrett. That's a credit to Tyler. That's a credit to the whole team. And you listen, the press offense or the concepts in the half court or the defense, those guys look like they're having fun playing right now. It looks like a whole different facial expression. It looks like a whole different demeanor. And you know why? Because they're connected. They've been through some really difficult times together, and they've had to lock up and they've had to fight through it. And we've forgotten in sport, that's what we got into all this for, right? Like, let's turn boys to men, right? Like, let's use sport to develop character. Let's teach them how to depend on one another. And it's not about them, it's about the team. And I think they bought into it. And so now all of a sudden tonight, they just go play free. And we knew it was going to be a battle. I mean, Bucky's a heck of a coach. They got an unbelievable team, and they're bought into how they play and, you know, how they press you and how they get the game chaotic. Are we going to believe in what we do? Right? They're going to believe in what they do. We're going to believe in what we do. And at the end of the day, I thought you just, to me, there's a lot of things you could point it to. But what this team has realized is we got to depend on one another, and we got to play the identity. And then, you know what? Let the chips fall where they may. Right? Let's see where we go. And you know what? I can put my head on my pillow at night if I know that this team's going to wake up tomorrow and they're going to try to figure out how do we get better together. And as cliche as it sounds, it's always worked and it always will work. And I don't care what changes. And I don't care about this or that or what everybody says, you can't do it this way anymore. Always has, always will. And as long as I'm the head coach here, it's going to be about us. And tonight, I thought that you saw our group have to depend on one another. Because you know what? If you don't, you dribble around that thing, they're going to turn you over. Right? And you want to go beat them all yourself and you got a 6'11" sitting in the rim, they're going to block your shot. Right? And they're going to run that thing down your throat. They're going to have shooters everywhere. And they're gonna bang a three, and they're gonna jump in a press, and they're gonna press you again. And I think that's what you have to get to. And you know what? We had to go through some hard lessons to get there. But man, I've been proud of a lot of teams. But you know, just knowing what they've been through and knowing what they've had to endure, I'm just super proud of this group, how they've handled all of it.
Pursuant to all of what you just said, from watching the games when the injuries occurred, I basically had the feeling that everything's going to be fine. It's just take a while to get back on track because this has sort of stunted the growth of the team.
Did you write that? You wrote that?
I did write that.
I'm messing with you.
Well, what I'm saying is, to a man, I thought it was interesting that both PJ and Carter said that they don't think that did anything at all but helped. In other words, there weren't any pieces to pick up that adversity made them better.
Well, I mean, it's yeah, I mean, we talked about last year with last year's group a lot, like going from the buzzer beater to last year in the moment. It's really easy in the moment to say count it all joy, right? But if you're gonna count it all joy, you gotta count it all joy, right? And like, there's hard that you look back on and you're like, you know what? Like, you don't think the Tulane game helped us win that game versus Western Carolina on Saturday, and it just happened they put .8 on the clock full length, right? Like, if you're gonna look at life and you're gonna say, hey, look, I'm either gonna win or I'm gonna learn, and I'm gonna come in here every single day and I'm gonna try to get better. Yeah, the key to a lot of this is like, can you endure more than the people that you're playing against and the people you're competing against, right? Like a lot of success, you just look at success over the years, like it's just endurance, right? Like, can you wade through the hard? And so when they look back on it now, and yeah, they've won 5 in a row, and all of a sudden it's like, oh man, like Furman's back. You know, Furman never left. We've been fighting. We got a group of fighters in there. We got a group in there that loves each other. And like at the end of the day, like they're reaping the reward of that. And I think when they look back on it, they're like, oh yeah, well this is what taught us this, right? And we had to go through this to get there. And last year, a year ago tonight, we're sitting in Chattanooga, and we had just changed the starting lineup, and we had just changed the rotation, and we were 4-2, and we had to win a game to stay in the hunt. Because 4-3, we were probably going to be done with the way Sanford and Greens were playing a year ago. And we had to go on the road with Jake healthy, and we had to figure out how to win a game. And we got out of there, Carter hit that 3, and Mike made a big play, and I'm sure a whole bunch of people made plays. We just found a way to get a win. And then all of a sudden, won 9 in a row, but it had to start somewhere, right? Like that team got tested. This team's been tested. The tests are different. But I think when Carter looks back on it, man, like I told our staff the other day, everything that Carter went through last year is paying dividends on what he's doing this year, right? It wasn't just like, oh man, this switch just kind of flipped, you know, July 15th, right? Like it was a progression, and people don't like to hear that anymore. They want it quick. They want it microwave. They want, hey, I want the ball now. I want points now. But now Carter looks back on this, man, Carter Witt gonna bleed purple before he gets out of here, right? And I love Carter Witt to death because of what he endured, right? And I think PJ, same thing, like, hey, bumped up a level, right? Played for a great coach, very successful. I think PJ would tell you, like, yeah, it It was a jump. But PJ's beyond, he's more than good enough to play at this level. But he's got to go out there and believe that. And he stayed the course. We changed the lineup. But tonight, you know what? He played 27 minutes almost. Okay? He scored 11 points. He was a plus 14. So that would be the second highest plus minus on the team, besides Garrett, who are the two guys that we asked to go to the bench, not out of punishment, just figuring out how to get the rotation right. And you know what? Have they moped about it? Have they complained about it? They've just, hey, you know what do we got to do to win a game? And so to hear those two say that surprises me none.
There was a play in the first half and probably should have resulted in a
Turnover,
and a
and we
turnover.
banged the corner three.
Right,
Yeah.
and so
I think there was almost 3 turnovers in that play.
right, but on that play, I kind of caught myself thinking, would that have happened? Would those same guys have affected that play, or would they have had the attitude of I made a mistake, and should I just mope or whatever? But I went back to like the Anderson game, and I was like, I don't think you would have, that the whole attitude has changed. Can you just talk about how they kept that play alive by making all those miscues and still being rewarded for the effort? Can you just talk about how the attitude of the team has changed in moments like that?
Yeah, I mean, I've touched on a little bit of that, of just, you know, this group having more joy and playing for one another and being more bought into how we have to play and the identity of which we have to play too. And, you know, y'all have heard me say this a bunch. I think the team that plays with the most energy, that plays the hardest, plays the most connected, typically wins the game. And you don't always know what that means, right? But like, you got to give yourself a shot. You know, like you got to give yourself a shot. You got to go out there and you got to play hard. We're not going to play perfect in a game like that, right? You're not going to, I don't care what game it is. I mean, Virginia, we made a million mistakes last year. You know, like last game, Western Carolina. I mean, it's just 2 really good teams playing each other. Tonight, we're going to make mistakes. How do you get to the next play, right? And I thought for the most part tonight, because that's a little bit of avalanche when you play those guys, right? Like, you get under the toe and they're pressing you, and all of a sudden bang threes are going in, and they got 2 or 3 guys at the table, and then all of a sudden you feel like you're under an avalanche. You just got to get to the next play. And I thought we had a couple, you know, like we had like they scored and then we just threw it to them right underneath, and then he scored again. I think it was 10, and all of a sudden it's 6 in like 4.5 seconds. Okay, well, guess what? You got to go make a play, right? And I think just not sitting there thinking about like, hey, what's going to be the result of all this, but really fixating on what's the process of winning a possession. And as funny as that sounds, you know, one thing we've done in this 5-game winning streak, and we've done this a lot, but shrink the game to media metrics, right? What are the 4-minute metrics I want to know every media to figure out what are we measuring, okay? And tonight, like, and I told him, I said, I don't even want to wait to the media. At 16, 12, 8, and 4, you better tell me exactly how many passes we have, right? Because the metric is going to be, is this thing moving, okay? Like, and then obviously, you know, they shoot a lot of threes. How many threes do they get per media, right? Like, those are the things that we've tried to shrink this game down into 4-minute blocks 10 times. And then, you know, like after halftime, it's like, hey, we got to come out and play well. Well, guess what? We lose AJ twice. Bang, bang. Okay? Like, what is going on? Well, you can kind of start sulking a little bit, or man, yeah, they've won 17 in a row. Like, they're pretty good. Okay? Or you can get to the media and be like, hey, as wild as that was, guess what? We won it by 2. And then, hey, just get to the next 4 minutes. And I think that's where this team's grown a lot, is just the response mechanism, right? The response mechanism, like just get to the next one. And some of that comes with confidence. Some of that comes with we're more settled in roles, right? We're more settled in who we are, and we know what we're playing for. And yeah, that was a wild play. I don't know how we did not turn it over, but then all of a sudden, I guess it was Marcus that nailed that 3 in the left corner, and you know, student section went crazy on that one.
I don't want to make you repeat yourself too much, but along those same lines, this, I think, was the type of game that maybe would have been in Garrett Haynes' younger days too fast for Garrett tonight. And I think he had a couple turnovers right off the bat. But how rewarding is it for you to see his growth from that Garrett to this Garrett, where he plays 27 minutes, and when he had that putback dunk, that's the loudest I've heard Timmons this year.
I tell you what, I love Gary. I love what he's about. I love him as a person. I love what he stands for. He's always smiling. You know, he's just Garrett Heen is just a great human being. And, you know, I've challenged him in a lot of ways, but I'm gonna tell you this. You can question, hey, you know, we want to put weight on. We did that, okay? Okay, so he's missed a few free throws, right? He hadn't made whatever. Listen, this kid loves Furman. He loves this program, and he embodies every single thing we're about. And I think in tonight's game, you know, where I love Garrett is I tell him before the game, like, do not take the ball out. He kept taking the ball out. I'm like, Garrett, go to halftime, adjustments, okay? The fifth one, Garrett, don't take the ball out, right? 2 plays in the second half, takes the ball out. Just a mistake, right? The kid bleeds purple. The kid loves this place. He loves his teammates, right? He wants to win. And I think seeing his emotion come out on that dunk, you know, and just to see how excited he was freed up a little bit tonight. And Garrett, listen, Garrett's got a high ceiling. Garrett can make shots. I promise you, I watch him do it all the time, right? Garrett's an incredible shooter, right? Garrett is a great free throw shooter. If he just relax his mind and go up there and just shoot him. He knows our offense. That's why I had to put him in tonight, because he can get from chaos to concept, and that's what you got to be able to do in this game, right? And he knows how to do that. And, you know, of course he'll have the play where they take it from him and dunk it there. You know, we're trying to close the game out. But the kid was a plus 22 in a high-level college basketball game. And again, right, he could have packed it in, right? Coach didn't start me anymore. Like, he cares. And I think tonight to see him playing with that type of emotion, that's what we need. Like, I don't need a perfect Garrett. I really don't. I don't expect a perfect Garrett. What I need from him is I need his spirit, and I need his energy, and I need his swagger, right? Because when he shows up on that court and he plays with swagger, man, that puts us in a whole nother dimension. And I was actually hoping, I mean, he's gonna watch this, and I'm gonna have to correct it tomorrow in film. I love him. I was actually tonight hoping he was gonna get a pop 3 at some point. And the reason I'm saying that, he's gonna give me a hard time, because he's gonna say, well, Coach, you've been telling me not to shoot. His mentality tonight was playing with a swagger that, listen, he gonna make 1 or 2 of them, you know. And it's when he gets down on himself and he doubts himself, you know, then all of a sudden the game slows down for him a little bit, and he's a tough critic, and some of that is because he cares so much. But man, we don't win that game tonight without Garrett Heaton. I know that, and the stats don't show whatever. Okay, like he shot 3 balls, he made 2 of them. You know, he got 1 rebound, he got 4 assists, he had 4 turnovers, plus 22. Because Garrett Heaton's a winner, and you can win with guys like that. And you know, I love how he's stayed in the fight, and he's continued to get better.
When I was watching Sanford and BMI, it looked like a military expedition on defense. Tonight, in the first half, I would think that most of the shots that you missed were fairly simple shots that went in and out, but it seemed like such an impressive outing where you just broke the press quickly, and all of a sudden you got them outnumbered in the forecourt. I mean, over and over, and very impressively.
Yeah, I think, you know, my offensive philosophy is always, I don't like layered offense. You know, hey, we're gonna do this, and then we're gonna pull it out. You know, back in the day, we used to have, man, you'd have your primary break and your secondary break, and then, man, you don't get either, so you run a set, and then, oh, by the way, what's your late shot clock action? I like a seamless possession, and I don't like the ball to stop, and I don't like the ball to stick. And so now what they do is they create a 94-foot element of that. And I think what a lot of teams do is they're like, okay, we got to break the press, and then what's the plan? And you know, for us, it's, hey, we're gonna break the press, and we're gonna try to get to concept as quick as we can. And you know, I think when you have a system of play, when you're dealing with people that press you, I think that helps you. And you know, I think it allows you to kind of get on tracks. I think we were up 16-10, and we had a little bit of a lull there, and it was just a bunch of just nothing possessions, right? We took a couple of tough 2s. We didn't get the ball side to side. The ball got stuck a little bit. And so now all of a sudden, right, they're taking the ball off the rim, they're running, they're scoring, they're jumping in their press, they get a steal, right? Like, it kind of all, like, it just compounds. And, you know, I think for us, that's always been how we try to play, like try to be seamless. And, you know, I thought we did we'll watch the film. I mean, 18 turnovers, that's too many. You know, but at the end of the day, I think we're going to see some 1-foot plays and some launches on the backside of the press, really. And I think that's what this Sanford team does a great job of, is running through plays and back tipping and trying to get you even after you feel like you've beaten it. I thought we got our head in front of our skis a little bit too much at times. And I think, you know, the next time we play them, we got to do a little bit better job of that.
You know, one of the interesting things about Sanford is they're able to actually press you off misses, which, you know, that they're really quick about doing that. But one of the things I think you guys did was the quick outlet pass that I think surprised them. I know there was one that Carter threw to JP early in the second half, and he goes in for a layup. Can you just talk about, you know, that ability and really the guys you have as outlet passers, because that's not an easy thing to do. That's a nice skill to have in your back pocket.
Listen, we spend a ton of time. It's a pass catch game, right? You got to pass it, you got to catch it well, you got to be able to start, you got to be able to stop, right? You got to be able to shoot it, you got to be able to finish. And we try to work on those 6 things every day. And you know, I think what Bucky does a great job of. I mean, the guy knows what he's doing. I mean, he knows what he's doing. There's no doubt about it. He's got a way, he's got a system. I respect it. You know, I think Bucky and I have mutual respect for one another. And you know, I think I told the team, I said, hey, I'm gonna show you our 3 or 4 main press attacks, but just understand, like, I might have about 3 or 4 more in my pocket, because he's gonna adjust, right? He's done this for so many years. He's gonna look and see, okay, how are you doing this? And then it's a chess match. Like, you're gonna have to line up differently. You're gonna have to get something different, and he'll change it, right? He's got all these presses, and so, you know, that's what makes the game fun. And you know, they did a good job on adjusting to some of our press offense that we used last year, and so you gotta keep staying fresh, because they're gonna have a counter. And but at the end of the day, you gotta catch it, you gotta pass it, you gotta see it, you gotta play on 2 feet, and you gotta decide, like, are you gonna play under control or are you gonna play chaotic? And you know, they're good at making you play chaotic. And you know, I thought for the most part, you know, we did a decent job of that tonight.
Coach, I got a question for you, and I think I know what the answer is going to be, but tonight you made history in your career, 150th win, only the second coach in the history of the Furman basketball to do so. And again, I want to reiterate, I think I know where this is going, but what does that mean to you as you proceed as coach with this program, and just talking about the mark that you've had on Furman basketball and Furman University?
Yeah, I think my mentors told me before, Lenny Acuff, there's 2 types of people in this business: the ones that are humble and the ones that are going to be humbled. And I think the day this becomes about me, we're going to get humbled, and I can care less about all that. It really doesn't do a ton for me. I've had a lot of great people around me. I've worked for great people. You know, I'm just a guy that gets to do what I love to do every single day. And you know, it's not always easy, but damn, it's rewarding. And I've wanted to do this since I was a kid, and I just get to live out my dream every day. I get to come in here and help people get better and chase their dreams and laugh and celebrate with them in great times like tonight, and fight to help them and get them off the map when we're struggling. But I get to wake up every single day and do a hobby, you know. And I tell you what, it's not always easy, but I think of the players that I've been a part of. I think of the staff that I've had working for me. I've got an unbelievable staff, and how our staff's working together right now, the camaraderie our staff has, how our players are working together, the administration, my boss is fully supportive of what we're doing, our president, our board, you know, the things that is it a fight? Yes, but man, it's a journey that you just got to find continuous joy in. You got to take the good with the bad. And but at the end of the day, like, this is a players program, and it will always be a players program. And my job is to just help them grow. And any decision I make has to be about helping this place and this program grow. And I care about Furman. And you know, I don't know if I've ever said this publicly, this is where I wanted to go to school. Came to multiple elite camps here. They brought me up on a couple unofficial visits, and most of it was because I was teammates with Major Wingate, but they still brought me up. You know, a kid Mike Jones about that now, he was an assistant here. I've always had an affinity to Furman, what it stands for, the academics, the campus, Greenville, and to be a part of something that, to be quite honest with you, it was a vision that a lot of people never thought we could do, and we're just having fun pushing through it and continuing to try to do, you know, making the unreal real. And that's what I wake up every day trying to figure out how to do. And I've been tested this year and battling and fighting, but you know what? It's been a fun journey to see where this team's at right now, and so that's a credit to a lot of people. And you know, I'm just humbled that the good Lord lets me be in a position of leadership to be able to make the decisions I get to make with the people I get to make, and to do something I love to do. I got a pretty simple life, man. I love my wife to death. I love my kids. I love my players. I love my staff. And they say I don't have any hobbies. I think I got the best hobby in the world.
I'm delighted that you knew what I wrote.